Who is the best 7-star in All-Star Tower Defense? After the new Demon Slayer update, let's figure it out, guys. By doing so, we're going to be showcasing every single 7-star so you guys can know exactly what their damage is and what they do, as well as ranking them all on our tier list so you guys can know which 7-star you should go for. Let's get into it, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe, help us reach 500k for our next code unit goal, and don't forget to use my star code BLAM whenever buying Robux or Premium. It's free and helps support the channel. Alright guys, so first let's take a look at the 7-stars from last update. Alright, we actually had two big damage, pretty much damage, only 7-stars. So we're going to max them out. Now, first up, a comment on Boros. It's kind of easy to tell, but you're going to notice, guys, he is trash. I repeat, trash for any raid mode. So he's pretty much an infinite mode only unit, which is very disappointing. However, he makes up for it with his insane damage. Look at this, guys. With leader passive, 979 million damage. That's crazy, man. That is legit insane. This guy is doing all kinds of damage and is one of the highest damaging units in the game. And he's actually, I believe, still the #1 best air unit in the game. So if you guys are doing any leaderboards that have air units, definitely bring our boy Boros. He's going to really help you out. All right, next up, we have his counterpart, Kirito. Now, Kirito, honestly, I'm going to be honest, guys, he might have the edge over Boros. Now, he does do slightly less damage, but what makes Kirito special is he is really good for raid mode. You can tell from these cheap upgrades, guys. You're doing 4.98 million full AoE with no buff. That is crazy, guys. With buff, that's like a 1 million DPS with full AoE and good range. Imagine if you just gave him a decent orb. He's busted OP for raids, guys. And of course, you can even upgrade him again if you'd like to, and his SPA like cuts almost in half. And whenever you max him out, he's doing insane damage as well. Plus, he has critical hits. So I believe every third hit he does triple damage, which basically almost doubles his DPS. Like, is pretty insane. So his DPS is a lot higher than you think. So let's rank these two units, guys. All right, I'm gonna say Boros is S tier, and Kirito, I'm gonna put him ahead of Boros because of how good he is for raid modes. All right, next up we have the best air slow unit in the game. All right, now what a lot of people don't know about this guy is he actually has some pretty sick DPS as well. All right, Griffith is the basically busted OP. All right, you're gonna see he slows fairly early on, hybrid and slows, and it's not even that expensive, guys. 56.4k for air slow with a pretty dang big AoE makes him usable for raid modes with air units, and his DPS is also very good as well, even for his cost. And then if you max him out, his DPS gets even wilder, and he also has some pretty sick range as well, making him one of the top DPS units in the game. And I would probably venture to say one of the best slow units in the game. Honestly, like, I think I would probably go with him over Katakuri in most situations. So for that reason, guys, we're putting Griffith in the S tier. Now, is he better than Kirito or Boros? I'm gonna be honest, it's close. But it's close. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say maybe better than Boros. It's close though. It's kind of hard to rank him, guys, because he's a support unit. So yeah. All right, next up, guys, we have Guts. Now, Guts has the same problem as Boros does, but what makes Guts special is he has the most insane DPS as well in the game, and he actually has a combo with Griffith 6-star. So if you have both Griffith 6-star and him, his damage just goes to the freaking moon. It basically like doubles, and his DPS is already insane. Like, look at this, guys. 12 million for 5 doesn't sound that good, but then you factor in Rupture, basically the best status effect in the game. Is basically bleed but way better. Makes him a total freaking beast. All right, now he's way better than honestly, guys, he's way better than Boros and Kirito for infinite mode. But the problem with him is he's not good. He's not really good for raids, but because he's so much better than those for infinite mode, I'm gonna have to put him in the S tier. All right, next up, guys, we have Sid. Now, Sid is another one of the best units in the game. What makes him special is not only does he have insane DPS, but I believe he also buffs money as well. And he does some insane DPS for raids too. And because of his dark passive, you can combo him with Astd, making him destroy pretty much any raid in the game. Honestly, you could probably solo most raids with him. Also, his damage is pretty sick. So 9 million for 5 plus bleed, which is very good. And of course, guys, he has that nuke ability that does like 6.5 billion or something damage to every enemy on the map. Look at that, guys. We're all the way up to 24.8 billion damage now. Pretty insane ability. So all that, guys, I think that easily puts our boy Sid in the S tier. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna probably say he's even better than Kirito. I'm gonna be honest, I probably would put him, it's close, guys. I'm gonna put him over Guts because Sid buffs money as well as is better in raid mode than Guts is. Now their DPS is fairly similar, but he also has a nuke ability that Guts doesn't have. However, his AoE really sucks. He has this like really baby AoE compared to Guts' full AoE. So that's our kind of comparison. All right, next up, guys, we have our boy Gohan Beast. We'll just go through Gohan Beast. Now his DPS is decent, but it's not too crazy. Even with his raging ability, guys, like I'm gonna be honest, he's kind of mid. So while he's not bad, and I hate to disrespect him like this, guys, but he's just kind of average for a 7-star. Like I think anybody could agree, I would get like any of these units before getting Gohan. All right, next up we have Tundra. Now I'm gonna be honest, guys, while Tundra is meta for infinite mode, his DPS is just not that great for infinite mode, and his ability Sunburn is kind of mid. But if we take a look, guys, he's really good for infinite mode. Look at that DPS plus Sunburn, which also slows down the units. And then for raid mode, he's actually doing really well as well. If you take a look, he's doing like 642k plus burn. So it's nothing too crazy, but it's still pretty good. And he has some decent AoE as well. So I'm going to give him some credit where credit's due, guys. I think we can easily put our boy Tundra. And he has a good money boost. I'm going to be honest, I'm hesitant to put him in the same tier as Guts, because I feel like anybody would pick Guts for infinite mode over Tundra. So I'm going to say he's high A tier. I might get some hate for that though, but that's okay. All right, next up, guys, we have, oh my gosh, one of the old Star Pass units. We got, oh my gosh, I forget his name for some reason. We'll just call him True Evil. Now this guy, I'm gonna be honest, he's mid. Like, he is actually surprisingly good for a raid mode though. Like, he has some really good DPS, and decay isn't half bad. So I would say he's kind of a raid mode only unit. I haven't seen anybody do an infinite mode strategy with him yet. So for that reason, I think we're just gonna have to put him in, I don't know, man, he's kind of mid. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. He's not bad, but he's not great. But I'm gonna give him actually a little bit high. Does he hit airs though? He does hit airs, but he does way less damage than Gohan, so it is what it is. All right, next up, guys, we got his counterpart Deku. Now Deku, man, he's actually really good. What people don't know about him is he actually has some decent DPS, but it's not meta. What makes him nice though is you can change him into all sorts of different things. You can make him a stun unit. You can make him a slow unit, which is probably his best one. You can make him hit air units, which is really weird. You can make him, I guess, do 5 SBA damage. I don't know, whatever. And then you can also max him out as well. And he also is a buff unit too, which is very nice. But his buff kind of sucks. So it's a little bit disappointing. Now, he's not a bad unit to bring. Maybe if you're soloing and you can't bring everything you need, I guess he makes sense. I don't know, man. Honestly, I think he's kind of B tier. He's not a bad unit, but I just don't see anybody using him. So he's not bad, but he's just kind of mid. All right, next up we have Zorro. Now, the problem with Zorro is Sid is just a better bleed unit. But Zorro, you can place 8 of him, which is nice. And his DPS is actually very, very freaking high. And he also does hit air units as well, making him one of the best air DPS units in the game. So it's kind of hard to complain with that. But the problem is his bleed damage is just so much lower than Sid's. So for normal infinite mode, you can't bring him. And the other thing that sucks about him, guys, is if we take a look at his upgrades, you're going to notice, like, these suck. Like, he straight up sucks. Like, how? Units start off with that much damage nowadays. Like, he just sucks, man. I don't know what to say. Like, if you're using him in raid mode, it's impossible. Because he's so trash in raids, I can't put him in the S tier. I'm going to be honest. So, A tier for Zorro. Please, guys. Please buff his raid mode upgrades. He's literally unusable right now. Alright, next up we got Eisen from Gauntlet mode. Now, what makes Eisen special is 2 things. One, he's busted OP for, like, EXP Extreme mode, which I know a lot of people are trying to beat. So that makes him really good. Also, guys, he's really good as well for raids. He's super cheap for full AoE damage with a decent SPA. Man, this guy is straight up a beast. Look at that, guys. 256. So his damage isn't too insane, but he does have an OP ability. Basically, you can use him to just spawn in enemies out the map. They'll have half the HP, though, of whatever enemy they clone. But it's pretty OP. But you only use it once as well. And I guess it also clones guys with 0 HP, which is really weird. But overall, he's a very, very good unit, guys. I'm going to say he's S tier, but I can't put him as top of S tier right now. So I'm going to be honest. I'd probably say... Honestly, I'd probably say he's right up there. I'd say he's probably better than Kirito. So I'll put him in there for my S tier ranking. All right, next up, guys, we have Meliodas. Now, Meliodas is meta. Now, the thing about Meliodas is he's actually not even that bad for raids. If we take a look at his stats, like, if you're doing a water raid, he's not bad. Like, look at the stats, guys. 642 for 8. That's not terrible. And he's also very good for gauntlet mode as well, with his special ability Disintegration that cuts the enemy's HP by 60%, which is very convenient. But his DPS is just so low, which really sucks. So I can't really put him in S tier. I'm going to put him in A tier, though. Definitely a very good unit for gauntlet mode. I'd probably say, yeah, probably maybe a little bit worse than Zorro. His DPS just sucks. All right, next up we have Mob. He is probably one of the coolest blessings in the game. Now, he's also a decent unit. Now, I guess he's maybe usable for raid modes. Not really. But what makes him special, guys, is he has this Esper Rage ability, which apparently you could actually afford in raid mode as well. So depending on how good you're farming, you can do that. Now, this is one of the best nuking abilities in the game. All right, I believe it is the second best. The only unit that has a better nuke is supposed to be the newer unit. But we'll test that. They said they're going to fix it, but they haven't fixed it yet. So Mob's a very, very good unit. He also hits airs as well. But the problem is his normal DPS is just so low that it's kind of hard for me to give him a good grade. So I'm going to say like A tier. He's not bad, but like they're just better units out there. He's only doing slightly more than Sid. And I know everybody would rather have Sid over Mob, which is a bit unfortunate. All right, and he's also unsellable too, which is kind of annoying. So we have to switch the path over to path number 2. All right, let's check out Katakuri. Now, Katakuri, I don't personally think he's the best slow unit in the game. He does have slightly more range than Griffith, but it's only slightly. And the thing about him is he only slows down the ground units, which is really lame. But he is full AoE, which is nice. But his AoE is only slightly bigger than Griffith's, but he also does work well with the orbs too. But his damage just sucks. So, but he is cheap to max. So there's a lot going into it. But technically, guys, I would say he is an S tier unit. I personally like Griffith over him, but I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this in the comments. But personally, guys, Griffith his airs, Katakuri doesn't. End of story. And if you use it correctly, they'll both slow every single unit on the map. Also, this guy has a way faster SPA than Griffith, so keep that in mind as well. But he also does like no damage compared to Griffith. All right, next up, guys, we have our boy Ichigo. Now, Ichigo, I don't recommend him. All right, first up, he's completely useless in raid mode. Because look at his first upgrade cost is like 1.25 billion, which is insane. Now, thankfully, his stats aren't bad. And he does have this cool ability called Awakening, which allows him to only hit airs and makes him even better. So, like, he's very good for, I'd say, air mode. But about that, anything else, he kind of sucks. So, unfortunately, guys, I can't really recommend getting Ichigo. Personally, I'd probably put him at, like, I'd probably put him, like, B tier. I'd probably get Gohan over Ichigo, so I'm just saying. That's what I think. All right, next up we have Princess Apollo. Now, Princess Apollo has this pretty cool ability. And to showcase it, we're going to need to upgrade the HP of these enemies real quick. And we'll get this guy in the back just so we don't die. There we go. Get this popping off. And we're going to make the enemies powerfuls. And I'll show you exactly what it does. So if we spawn in a bunch of powerful enemies, and then we upgrade it to her ability, you're going to see that her Touch of Grace ability removes a lot of effects. Now, it doesn't remove cloners like Rimaru's does, so she's basically a worse version of Rimaru. But her DPS is actually pretty insane. But she comes with the caveat of you can only actually place 4 of her down. And yeah, she is also unsellable as well, which is very annoying. But she's meta. She's very good for gauntlet mode, so I'm going to put her in the A tier. Yeah, that's fair. But her DPS is kind of lacking. I think this is probably a fair placement for her. All right, let's go switch the path again so we don't, because we have too many freaking unsellable units. Wait, she's also hitting this path too, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go check out Diavolo. Now, Diavolo is mainly used for his ability, and he's not really good for raid mode either, but his ability is really good, and he's a decent bleed unit, but again, not the best anymore. There's better bleed units out there, so people only use him for his ability because he's the only unit with it. Now, what his ability does, it teleports enemies back along the track. It cuts their HP by 25%, and it also time stops as well. However, it's recommended to use Boa Hancock's time stop first and then him, because his time stop is a lot slower than Dio's and Boa Hancock's. So for that reason, Diavolo's good enough for low S tier. All right, next up, guys, we have like the worst 7-star in the game. All right, Cell. Well, Cell, yeah, he's too trash for raid mode. And look at his damage, guys. 2.17 for 8. Like, let's look at Princess Apollo. 3.17 for 5. Yeah, let's be real, guys. He sucks. So he is a free 7-star though from the like the battle road thingy, which hopefully will go away soon, and hopefully they make him tradable. But we'll see. But I'm gonna be honest, guys. Worst 7-star in the game. All right, let's check out the next ones. All right, here we go. Next up, guys, we have one of the new units. We have Goku and Vegeta tag team. Now, they may be usable in raid mode, but it's doubtful. Now, what makes them special is the fact that they have some pretty good DPS, guys. Look at that, 43.8 with the leader bonus. That's crazy. And they have this cool ability called Energy Bomba. Now, unfortunately, Energy Bomba, I think, is still bugged. It's only doing 5 billion damage nuke, but it's a nuke ability that hits, like, basically the whole map. But it's so expensive, guys. He costs 13 million to max, which is ridiculous. Speaking of that, man, where's the 7-star money unit? Hey, maybe we'll get Bulma. I mean, maybe we'll get Nami 6-star in the next update. We'll have to see. But anyways, let's get it, guys. So he's a pretty good unit. I don't think we have time to charge his Energy Bomba attack though, but it's really good. I'd probably rank him pretty high on the list. If I'm being real, I'm gonna probably say he's decent. I think Sid's better though right now. I mean, once they fix him, he's gonna be good. So I'm gonna say I'd probably put him slightly worse than Boros personally. And he is sellable though, which is nice. But his ability is a one-time use. All right, next up, guys, we got our boy Broly. Actually, we'll take a look at him last because he's not sellable. All right, let's take a look at this random unit though. We have Kurama. Yeah, guys, Kurama is still in the game. Unfortunately, he's unobtainable right now. And he kind of fell off, I'm not gonna lie. Like, every unit got buffs except him. And so 17.7 for 6, while it's not bad, it's definitely not good. So I really can't recommend this dude. So he's a hard pass. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I think it's time to put Kurama in the D tier, boys. Maybe the C tier. We'll give him a little bit of credit, but he's not good. Not good at all. Especially when you saw what Goku's stats were. Like, would you rather have Goku or Kurama? 43.8 for 11 versus 17.7 for 6. And you also get a nuke ability. I think it's night and day, guys. So Kurama, not recommended. Now, the units that make up Kurama, Naruto sucks. But the thing about Naruto that makes him like somewhat livable is he actually is not bad for raid mode. Like, look at those. That's actually pretty good. Now, for infinite mode, he sucks with 2.02 for 7. That's just trash. So I can't recommend him for that. But which really sucks though is he actually has some pretty cool attack effects. But like, he sucks. So even summons Kurama, but he sucks. All right, next up, guys, we have his counterpart. Now, his counterpart is unusable for raids, except maybe his first upgrade, which isn't even that good anymore. So I wouldn't really recommend it for raids. But it has some really good DPS thanks to the Black Flames, but it's also very pricey at 4.6 million to max. So it's kind of a balance. If you're doing an air mode, I'd definitely recommend him because I think he's the only Black Flames units that hits airs. So I recommend him for that only. And for that reason, I'm going to give him A tier. And I'm going to give Naruto like a little bit higher than Kurama because Naruto's at least usable in story mode. All right, next up, guys, we have Vegeta and Broly. So I'm just going to showcase these both at the same time because they're the same unit. The only thing that makes Blue Vegeta better is Blue Vegeta is actually fairly good in raid mode. Look at that, guys. 1 million damage for 9 with a very nice SPA and a very nice AoE cone. So he works well for Sinjin raids, stuff like that. And he's not that bad of a unit, guys. 2.6 for 10. And if you compare him with Broly, Broly's unusable for raids. Not recommended at all. You can see his stats. Just way too low of a damage to be good at raids, considering he's only single placement. So you guys can let me know which one you think is better. They're pretty similar in DPS though. I do believe Broly has slightly more range, which is kind of nice. But yeah, they're just basically about the same unit, guys. Both full AoE damaging units that both hit air. All right, next up, guys, we have one of the most good. I would probably say, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I think this guy's the new best 7-star in the game. First up, he time stops. on his second upgrade, guys. He only costs 20k to time stop, and he is one of the best time stops in the game. And also, guys, you can choose between his time stop sizes, I think. You can have short time stop or long time stop. And if you take a look, guys, his stats are very good as well for raids. Like, look at this, guys. 850k for 50k, like 100,000 DPS for raids is really good, especially for a full AoE unit. So any raids that fire elements are good for, he's going to be busted OP for. And also, guys, look at this guy. His damage is also very good as well. 4.27 for 11. And then you max him out one more time. 570 for 5.71 for 11, which is very, very good. And he has two ability, guys. His best ability is meta for raids called Sleep. All right, what it does is you see it just increased our base HP by 5 billion, basically allowing you to beat pretty much any raid in the game. And then, of course, guys, he also has one of the largest time stops in the game as well. Actually, it's the official best time stop in the game. I'm talking about, like, the normal time stops, not like a Dio time stop or Boa Hancock time stop. But it's a basically really, really long time stop, 7 seconds, the longest in the game. And its cooldown is also very short as well. It's not the fastest cooldown in the game, but it's very, very fast. So overall, guys, I definitely think we got to put this guy as the best 7-star in the game. All right, he's kind of more of a support unit, but he's meta for infinite mode and meta for raids. And as far as Broly and Vegeta are concerned, I'm going to put them in B tier. So we got one more unit left, guys, Metal Cooler. Now, what makes Metal Cooler really good, we'll just equip him right now, is you can actually combo him and Saika at the same time to basically have the ultimate summoner duo and clap any single raid. So let me go showcase him real quick, and then we'll rank him, and then I'll show you guys the final rankings. Alrighty, guys, here we go. First up, we got our boy, Metal Cooler. Yes, sir. Now, his stats aren't bad. His DPS is a little bit low, but he's very cheap, so it's kind of hard to complain. And of course, guys, what makes him good is self-clone, very fast recharge, and 22 million, basically allowing him to slap any boss. So, honestly, ranking-wise, we got to put him in. I'm going to be honest. He's really good for raids. I'd probably say he's up there. I'd say he might be better than Eisen for raids. I would probably put him right there in the list, guys. So there you go. There's my rankings in order of the best 7 stars in the game. Let me know what you think down below, and peace.